I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, April the 4th, brought to you in part by Tariff by Norbrook. Tariff is the affordable alternative to cydectin. Treat external parasites and effectively protect your cattle from reinfection. For more information, go to norbrook.com. Also, Unionville Livestock Market in north central Missouri and Creston Livestock Market in south central Iowa, both on DVAuction.com. Unionville will have a special calf and yearling sale coming up on Tuesday, April the 15th, and then a big special bred cow, heifer, and pair sale coming up on Saturday, April the 19th. Be sure and put those both on your schedule. You don't want to miss either one of them. Up in Creston, they're going to have regular Friday sales here today and next Friday on the 11th. And then a big special bred cow, heifer, and pair sale on Friday, April the 18th. Check out both of those sales. Tariff Hangover. And Hangover is just what it is. We had the big announcement of the tariffs on Wednesday, and we knew it was going to hit home. We knew it was going to hit hard, and it did. On Thursday, your stocks were down big, your commodities were down big, cattle market was down big. But like we have with a hangover, and hangovers when you celebrated too much, and it kind of reminds me of what Frank Sinatra said about hangovers. He said, I feel sorry for people that don't drink, because the first thing in the morning when they wake up, that's as good as they're going to feel all day long. And I think that's the same thing with this tariff deal. After we get over this initial knee-jerk reaction to these tariff announcements, we've got a lot of upside to gain, guys. We're going to be taking in a lot of tariff money as a country. That is going to help us get us out of debt. Hopefully going to help us slack off on some of the taxes that we pay. And it's going to get better as we go forward. It's just have to get over this. And markets don't like uncertainty, and nobody really knows about this tariff deal. We haven't done it for a long time, and nobody's lifespan here that's still watching. But I think we've got a lot to gain on these tariffs, and people just have to trust in that and have patience. Like I've talked before, your stock market was down near 1,680 points. That's a hit, guys. That is a big hit. But if you look at some of the places, like your Walmart stock was not down hardly at all. And one thing is because Walmart has told China about the products that it sells that comes from China. It wants China to shoulder the tariffs. And they probably could shoulder most all the tariffs. And if they do, then that's going to be a good thing for them. And I think you just have to stand up to these tariff pressures and keep going forward here. And it's going to get better. It's going to keep going better. We've had a lot of talk about beef and cattle and the tariffs there. And some of those countries that we get a lot of lean beef from, like Brazil and Argentina and places like that, they're going to get a tariff, not a huge one, but the straight 10% right across the board there. And I think that's going to help us. I mean, you think, well, gosh, our prices are at all-time record highs. Well, who's to say that's the top? We could go higher than that, guys. But cutting Australia off because they haven't taken any of our product in 22 years, and we've been taking record supplies of theirs, I think that's good for us, and we can take care of our own product, and maybe we don't need to be exporting as much as we do. We typically eat about 80% of our product and export about 20%. And these prices like this, maybe we can keep more of it at home. We like eating our own product, and we think it's pretty safe. And apparently Australia does not think it's very safe. But let's talk about your board. Or actually, let's talk about Livestock Risk Services. You see how tumultuous these markets are, and Dakota Moss and all these agents that work right alongside him, they are your LRP specialists, guys. Give them a call and talk to them about protecting your investment. And they can do that with livestock risk protection, guys, and they are the best at it. and we've lost a lot of coverage levels there just on Thursday, but you know, it's probably going to bounce back. Maybe not here today on Friday, but for sure next week it will. And when it does come back, they will tell you a good time to get in there and get an LRP policy on your cattle that you're going to turn out this summer, and can protect you from the downside risk, guys. For more information, go to LivestockRiskServices.com. Let's talk about your board on Thursday, and it was bad. April live cattle futures down 232, and they were down even more than this. They did come back some, so it's not like they locked down the limit. So there's a chance we could see some recovery on Friday here, but April live cattle down 232 at 208.05. June down 270 at 204.70, and your back months on live cattle down big from 235 lower to 275 lower. April feeder cattle down 347 at 285.40. May was down $4.80. That is a big loss there, guys, at 283.12. It's a shame that we can't, people can't go in and buy some cattle at those kind of cheaper prices. They're just not available out there because everybody wants them. But 283.12 for your May feeders. Your back months on feeder cattle were all down huge from $4 to $4.45 lower. Look at your grains. Corn was down just 1/4 cent a bushel at 457.5. Beans down big, down 18 cents at 10.11 cents a bushel. And your hard red winter wheat for May was actually up 1/2 cent a bushel at 569. Fat cattle trade, we did see some more trade take place on Thursday, but we still haven't seen the bulk of the trade yet as of 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But Iowa sold 3,600 head on Thursday, only about 100 head more than that beforehand. But your live prices in Iowa on Thursday ranged from 212 to 213. That's steady with last week. It's not like this thing fell completely out of bed. And your dress sales from 335 to 345, which was fully steady. Nebraska sold 3,850 head on Thursday, about 4,000 head for the week, and the only live price they posted on Thursday was 213. Dress prices, just like Iowa, from 335 to 345. Southern Plains still hasn't traded many cattle. Kansas sold 600 head on Thursday. They sold about 400 more than that earlier in the week at 210, getting in before the tariffs. Now on Thursday, the live price was 208, so they did lose some ground there. But you look at the board, it was down more than $2. But a little bit of dress trade in northern Kansas at 335. Texas sold 400 head. They've sold about that many more before that at 210. But on Thursday, it was 208.5 in Texas. So just a pinch better than Kansas. Did have a fat cattle auction on Thursday. Kelowna, Iowa had about 500 head. The market was steady to 50 cents higher on fed cattle. The conventional cattle sold from 210.5 to 225. Now, I know it's smaller plants in there picking around on them, but that's what the cattle are worth. And when you have competitive bidding, you can get prices like that. They had dairy fed cattle in Kelowna sell from $1.85 to $2, and that's pretty darn good for straight dairy cattle. How about box beef cutout values? Lower again, but not as much as lower as they were on Wednesday. Choice cuts down 153 at 338.37. Selects down 99 cents at 317.84. Your slaughters running about the same pace, running behind last week because last week ended up being huge, but 472,000 through the first 4 days of the week. Estimated cattle slaughter, that's 13,000 less than last week, which ended up being 609,000, one of the biggest weeks we've seen, but 2,000 less than the same week a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. Green River Posts. Now, I know you guys have made some money and you've got some fixing up to do around your ranch and farm there. Green River Posts has pressure treated southern pine fence posts with a 25-year warranty on them against rot. And they will deliver those posts anywhere you're at, and the first 200 miles is free. For more information, go to greenriverpost.com. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance, working to protect your livelihood Your real-time index based on an 800-pound cash auction steer up through your middle 12 states late on Thursday after all your sales had closed, sitting at 290.98. So up again, up another 23 cents on feed and steers, guys. And your CME cash feeder cattle index, the latest, was 291.93. Sale coming up here on Friday that I'm going to be at, and if you guys are close by, just come on over. It's going to be a good time at Stillwater, Oklahoma. The Coffeyville Stockyard Spring Video Special is going to be at 6 o'clock p.m. right there on campus, guys. They got about 13,000 head on offer. If you can't make it over to the sale, get on to DVAuction.com and check us out. Talk about your big sales on Thursday. How about Farmers and Ranchers Livestock in Salina, Kansas? 3,600 head there. The feeder steers were lower, $2 to $5 lower. Spots as much as $10 lower on some of those middleweight, two-way cattle there that sold so high last week. Calves, though, were $2 to $10 higher. And people are still going to turn cattle out this summer. I don't care what goes on in politics or tariffs or globally or whatever. They're still going to do that, guys, and we're short of them. How about winter livestock in Pratt, Kansas? About 3,000, a little better than that. Feeder steers, $2 to $8 higher. They didn't hear about any problems anywhere. They saw the board and didn't pay any attention to it. Feeder heifers were unevenly steady. Steer calves were as much as $20 higher in Pratt, Kansas, and the heifer calves $7 to $10 higher. Some individual quotes from all around. How about Enid Livestock Market in Enid, Oklahoma? That's Dakota Davis, their DV auction broadcaster. He is doing a great job there with that market that nobody else could make work, and he's got that thing rolling. At Enid, they sold 51 steers, weighed 811 pounds, bring 299 out there in rural western Oklahoma, guys. How about Broken Bow Livestock Market in Broken Bow, Nebraska? They sell 85 steers, weighed 700 pounds at $339. That's a big time quote. Here's one out of Pratt that sold so good. Pratt, Kansas sold 57 big steers, weighed 911 pounds at $293 and a quarter. We haven't seen that. That could be an all-time record high right there, guys, forever. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Thursday in your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day, coming out of Belle Fourche, South Dakota at the Belle Fourche Livestock Market. They sold 106 steers, weighed 502 pounds at $433. Another all-time record high after the tariff, guys. And that's your feeder flash for Friday.